Left of the box. And more of police not doing their job. A Toronto couple recovers stolen vehicle on their own after waiting hours for police. Where were the police? That's what one couple from Toronto is asking after their vehicle was stolen. They were able to get it back, but they claim officers never showed up to the location where they tracked it down. It all started when Jonathan Orlando, who was staying at his parents' house in East York on April 21st, 2024, woke up to a shock. There was a pile of glass in the driveway and my vehicle was gone, he said. Orlando reported it to the police, who allegedly responded to the home 5 hours later. Their only advice was to try and find ways to track it down. One suggestion was to download Cyrus Radio, which could locate it, which I did, he said. So the police come. Like, that's the thing. Everyone's like, the police do their job and we need more police so that they can go and do their job and all this sort of stuff. And, who are you going to call? Like, you want to defund the police? Well, then who are you going to call when there's a crime? Well, apparently the police will just show up and say, do it yourself. $1.189 billion for them to show up and say, do it yourself. Orlando then realized he could use the Acura mobile app, which showed the vehicle was in a parking lot in Etobicoke. We called the police and let them know we had located it. I had friends who lived nearby wait by the vehicle until we got there, he explained. He and his partner Jake Windsor made it to the location at 2 p.m. that same day. To our surprise, no one showed up, Orlando said. Like, they say that there's this overwhelming problem of carjackings and car thefts. And so here they have a car that they've recovered, these people. And instead of the police, maybe coming and investigating, doing the whole thing, like check for fingerprints, see if they can connect this to other people and find the people responsible for stealing this car, they just don't show up. We waited out there in the parking lot until about 10 p.m. It was getting kind of dark and sketchy. Windsor said they were standing on the road trying to flag down police officer vehicles that drove by. We couldn't get anyone to come. Well, all you have to do is say you found a unhoused person sleeping in it. Then they'd have like the whole force there. Toronto couple waited 8 hours for police to arrive. They never did. Frustrated, the couple did not want to leave the vehicle. Concerned it was a secondary drop-off location for a car theft ring, the criminals have deactivated the keys and placed a club lock on the wheel. The thieves were protecting it from other thieves, Windsor said. After waiting 8 hours with no police response, the couple called Canadian Automobile Association, CAA. Because the keys were deactivated and they had a steering wheel lock on it, we couldn't put the car in neutral, so CAA had to call a flatbed truck to tow it. Orlando noted, the first driver did not feel it was safe to leave us to be alone, so he waited with us until the appropriate truck arrived. The police should have been there. That's their job. That's what they're supposed to do. The couple called the police again to say CAA was about to tow it away. We have offered to have the car towed to the local division, but I was told that they wouldn't receive it. So we said we'd have to tow it to the dealership and then call us back to bring it into the division, Windsor explained. So here is this big piece of evidence for a potential car theft ring that the police are very concerned about when they, threaten the city because the city doesn't want to give them an extra $12 million in extra funding. And they like to fearmonger about all these car thefts. And so here they have this car-sized piece of evidence that could lead them to maybe tracking down people involved in this horrible car theft ring. And the couple it was stolen from had to find it themselves, then get CAA. And even when they said they would have CAA tow it to them, they're like, but still that would mean we have to receive it, and that's paperwork, and all, like, just, could you not bother us with this right now? We're busy, donuts or something. They're busy harassing unhoused people and students. It was very confusing. At that point, the vehicle was already en route to the dealership. We provided the dealership's address and told police it would be there in 15 minutes, but then nobody even followed up until the next day, Windsor said. Per the dealership, the officer didn't even go look at the vehicle. They just verified that it was there, Orlando added. The couple says they've yet to get an update on the investigation. What investigation? There is none. Why calls for located stolen vehicles aren't considered high risk, Toronto Police Service. Speaker's Corner reached out to Toronto Police Service, and spokesperson told us there was no reason for the delay. The Toronto Police Service, like all other services, has a tiered response system in place where we assess calls on priority matrix based on threat, risk, and harm posed to the victim and the public, they said. TPS told Speaker's Corner that an officer did respond reasonably quickly to the initial call in East York when Orlando noticed the vehicle was stolen. But when the couple located the vehicle in another division, the officers there were dealing with a number of higher priority calls that day. Throughout the day, the police in 22 Division were responding to 14 Priority 1 and 31 Priority 2 calls, our highest priority calls. Yes, there's somebody in a tent in the park. We must go investigate that, including assaults, stabbing, multiple calls of people in crisis, and numerous break and enters in progress. Well, you see, a lot of these people in crisis, if you had people certified in mental health crisis response do those calls instead of police, you'd have more police freed up to do this. Just saying. TPS does not take vehicle thefts lightly, and we do send officers as quickly as we can to recover stolen vehicles. However, calls involving public safety always take priority. I would suspect that if you're around a car that has been stolen and is set up in such a way that would imply that it's going to be picked up by another part of that car theft ring, you're in danger if you stay in that spot for very long. It's probably putting you at high risk. TPS says they're working hard to address the ongoing spike in stolen vehicles. There have been more than 3,500 vehicles stolen in Toronto in 2024. Around the clock, we have investigators aggressively working to address the auto thefts in the city. Well, you can't say aggressively working. Passive-aggressively working, maybe. To address auto thefts in the city, and are working to partnership with our law enforcement partners to recover the vehicles and disrupt the organized crime networks responsible. Yeah, we get it. We get it.